This is my first time being here at all, so I was just gonna observe, but then as the word choice kept getting thrown around, I realized this was a good time for me to tell one. I think the first major choice I ever made was deciding.
Step up a little bit into the microphone just so we can catch you for the podcast.
Okay. Was deciding between my parents. My parents divorced when I was 3, and my mother gained most of the custody. My father just had visitation, so she took me to Kentucky. That's where we lived, and then I would visit my father like in the summer and holidays and things like that. So somehow I knew. I think a cousin told me or something like that, that when I turned 14, I could choose who to live with permanently. I didn't know that until closer to that age, but there was some abuse from my mother. We lived in abject poverty. Once she married my stepfather, she had, at that time, 3 other children. We lived in a house that was, made for, at the most, a couple. Not that my father was much better, but he had remarried, but they only had 1 other child. But they were just a little bit better off. And as I started to get to the age of 14, I realized when you grow up in a kind of an abusive household, you tend to start thinking about things a little bit more rationally and a little bit more logically. I think you have to grow up a little bit faster. And so I had started thinking about my future a little bit more, especially as I started to head into high school. So I was thinking about, okay, when I go to college, they're going to be looking for things other than your grades. And if I stay with my mother, I'm not going to be able to do those things outside of school. We lived, if you drove straight to the high school there, not on the bus, but drove straight there, it was 45 minutes away. So we weren't allowed to do things outside of school. There were no extracurricular activities. And those are the things that get you into college. So my mind was thinking of those things. And so my decision pretty much had been made. I needed to go live with my father. That was the only way that I was going to have some sort of life. But the choice was definitely going to hurt my mother, for sure. But also, I knew that there were some mental health issues with my mother. Not to diagnose her, there were some things there. And I knew that she was not going to take this decision the way it needed to be taken from a mother. She was going to make it personal, and she was going to make it about her. So I waited till the last possible minute to tell her. And I knew that it was going to be a big deal because I was going to have to move and go into this new school and all of that. But I waited till the last possible minute, and sure enough, she did make it about her. She was sure that it was all about the money, that it was because my daddy was rich, and I wanted to go because I was going to have the money there, and it was about money, but not in that way. So for a 14-year-old to have to make that kind of decision is difficult, but it was probably the first real choice I had to make, and it was kind of an adult choice. But going to the anonymous question that we had to answer, I knew it was right from the moment I made it because my gut told me that's the right choice, and I was in it as soon as I made a choice. So thanks for listening.